Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Any voice? Authentic Toilet 6, please take notes. And please undot yourself and take notes. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Imam al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, brothers and sisters in Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this, another of our sittings. As it was requested of me, we shall be taking a look at the tafsir of Surah Al Qiyamah. This surah was revealed at Mecca, and it has all the characteristics of the Meccan surahs. Because it focuses on Tawheed, it focuses on the hereafter, it focuses on life after death, it focuses on the day of resurrection. Allah said in the first ayah, and please bring me ayah 1 from Surah 75. Allah said, لا أقسم بيوم القيامة أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا أقسم بيوم القيامة. Nay, I swear by the day of resurrection. وَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالنَّفْسِ اللَّوَّامَةِ, and I swear by the self-reproaching soul. Yawm al-Qiyamah has many names. I will give you some of the names for Yawm al-Qiyamah. It has 50 names, but you don't expect me to tell you the 50 names for Judgment Day. I will only tell you the most famous names. According to Imam Ghazali, it has 50 names. You don't expect me to tell you all 50 names. I will tell you the most important names. It is called Yawm al-Akhir, the last day. There's one name, Yawm al-Akhir. Because there is no day after that day, so it is called Yawm al-Akhir. On that day, a lamb will be slaughtered, and an angel will cry out, Ya Ahl al-Jannah, khulud wala maut. Ya Ahl al-Nar, khulud wala maut. O people of Jannah, dwell in paradise, there is no death. O people of the hellfire, dwell in hellfire, there is no death. It will be everlasting life in paradise or everlasting life in hellfire. It is called the last day. There is no day. The last day. Yawm al-Akhir. Please list them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Another name for Judgment Day is As-Sa'ah, the hour. Another name for Judgment Day. So Allah Ta'ala give it that name in Surah 22 verse 1. Allah said, Ya ayyuhan nas ittaqu rabbakum inna zalzalat as-sa'ah shay'un 'azim. O mankind, fear your Lord, because the earthquake that will happen on Judgment Day is a dreadful thing. Allah said, as-sa'ah. The other name for Judgment Day is Yawmul Ba'ath, the day of awakening. Yawmul Ba'ath, the day of awakening. Because people will wake up out of their graves on that day. The other name for Judgment Day is Yawmul Khuruj, the day of coming out. Because people will come out of their graves on the day of judgment. The first to come out of the grave will be the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yawmul Khuruj, the day of coming out. The other name for Judgment Day is Al Qari'ah, the great calamity. Al Qari'ah, the great calamity. Allah said, Al Qari'ah, Mal Qari'ah, wa ma adraka mal Qari'ah. يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال يوم الفصل, the day of decision. Allah said, Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. Surah 78 verse 17. So the other name is Yawm al-Fasl, the day of decision. In the dunya, you differ about Aqidah. You differ about fiqh. You differ about manhaj. Why do you think the Mujahideen turn on each other in Syria? Because they differ about Aqidah and they differ about manhaj. Some people believe in Sharia and Khilafah and they are fighting for Sharia and Khilafah. Some people are fighting for democracy. The Free Syrian Army is fighting for democracy. So because you differ about Aqidah, you differ about fiqh, you differ about manhaj, on Judgment Day, Allah will decide who was right and who was wrong. So because of that, Judgment Day is called Yawm al-Fasl, the day of decision. Inna Yawm al-Fasli kana miqata. The other name for Judgment Day is Yawmuddin. Allah said in Surah Fatiha, Maliki Yawmuddin, the master of the day of judgment. So Yawmuddin, Judgment Day is called Yawmuddin. Why? Because all the religions will be there. Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, Rastafarian. Did I leave anybody out? The Sikh. Everybody will be there. All the different deen will be there. And you will be treated according to the deen you follow. So because all the deens will be there, Allah said, Judgment Day is Yawmuddin, Maliki Yawmuddin. The other name for Judgment Day is Al-Ghashiyah, the enveloping day, because you cannot escape from Allah's punishment on that day. It is called the enveloping day. Al-Ghashiyah. Allah said, Hal ataka hadith al-Ghashiyah. Did the news come to you about the Ghashiyah? Hal ataka hadith al-Rafida. هل أتاك حديث الصوفية؟ هل أتاك حديث المداخلة؟ هل أتاك حديث الرافضة؟ هل أتاك حديث المعتزلة؟ هل أتاك حديث الأشاعرة؟ Many scholars, when they are refuting a group, they call their CD Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Rafida. Who gave their CD that title? Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. Zarqawi, that's what we call it. Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Rafida. Rafida means Shia. Did the news come to you about the Rafida? Many sheikhs, when they are refuting a dodgy group, they call their CD, their lecture, Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Rafida. Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Mu'tazila. Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Asha'ira. Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Madakhila. Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Sufiya. Then they expose the group. Hal Ataka Hadith Al-Ghashiyah. What is the Ghashiyah? Judgment Day. Because you can't escape Allah's punishment. Judgment Day is called Yawmul Hisab, the day of reckoning. Yawmul Hisab, the day of reckoning. The other name is Al-Waqi'ah, the great inevitable event. Al-Waqi'ah. That is the other name for Judgment Day, Al-Waqi'ah, the great inevitable event. So Allah said, إذا وقعت الواقع لها كاذبة خافضة رافعة. When the event, the day of resurrection, befalls, and there can be no denial of its befalling, bringing low those who will enter hellfire, their heads will be hanging down low, while those who will enter the paradise, they'll be able to hang their heads up high. The other name for it is, I have many names in front of me. Yawm at-Taghabun, the day of loss and gain. Yawm at-Taghabun. There's even a surah called Surah Taghabun. The day of loss and gain for the believers and a great loss for the kuffar. Judgment Day, a gain for the believers but a great loss for the kuffar. It is also called Yawm al-Hasra. Hasra means the day of grief and regret, because people will regret many things on Judgment Day. They will regret not obeying the messengers. They will regret having bad friends. the day of regret, because people will regret many things on Judgment Day. They will regret the friends they keep, and they will regret not following Islam. So it is called Yawm al-Hasr. فلا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة. Allah swears by Judgment Day because it is a very important day, and Judgment Day will be on a Friday. The Prophet said Judgment Day will be on a Friday. Which Friday? We don't know. Only Allah knows that. Allah swears by Judgment Day because it's a very important day. It is the last day. It is a day when Allah will decide who will go to paradise and who will go to the hellfire. In the second ayah, Allah said, وَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالنَّفْسِ اللَّوَّامَةِ. And then Allah said, I swear by the soul which is the rebuking soul. 75 verse 2. Allah is hereby swearing by the rebuking soul. Surah 75 verse 2. So there are, where is the ayah? Why is it taking so long for the ayah to come? There are three types of souls. There are three types of souls. The first soul is called Nafs Lawama, the rebuking soul. If you do haram, it tells you to make tawbah. Your soul tells you to go and make tawbah. Your soul tells you to fear Allah and make tawbah. That's called the rebuking soul. Then there's another soul which is called Nafs Ammara, the soul which is prone to evil. The soul which is prone to Nafs Ammara, this soul has lost its conscience. They can do the worst crime under the heavens and go to bed and sleep with a clear conscience. That person is called Nafs Ammara, a soul which is prone to evil. The Prophet spoke about the rebuking soul, and the Prophet spoke about the soul which is prone to evil. And Mike, can you hear me? Okay, bring the hadith. The Prophet either does anything wrong, it bothers him. It's like he sits on a mountain and he thinks the mountain will collapse on top of him and bury him under the rubble. But when the wicked person does anything wrong, he considers his sins to be trivial. Trivial. Like the fly that passes over his nose. In this hadith, the Prophet is describing to you two types of souls. The soul which is Ammara, a soul which is prone to evil. These men, they have lost their conscience. They can kill millions of people and go to bed and sleep as if to say it's, for example, Pol Pot. A Chinese communist. He killed 8 million of his people. Then he was able to go to bed and sleep like it's business as usual. Because his soul is called Nafs Ammara, a soul which is prone to evil. So in Surah Al Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala swears by the soul which is Lawama, because that is a good soul. Why it's a good soul? Because it's a rebuking soul. It tells you to go and make tawbah when you do haram. الْإِنسَانُ أَنْ لَنْ نَجْمَعَ عِظَامَهُ. Man thinks that we won't gather his bones. He doesn't want to believe in the resurrection. Because when he was in the dunya, his character was very evil. Because man himself said, if we should be resurrected, man admitted if we should be resurrected, if there's a day called the day of resurrection, on that day we are going to be losers, because when we were in the dunya, we were very, very evil. يقولون إنا لمردودون في الحافرة إذا كنا عظاما نخرة قالوا تلك إذا قرة خاسرة. Man in Surah 79, يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة, will we really be resurrected? Man will admit, he already admitted, if there is a day called the day of resurrection, and we are going to be resurrected, and we are going to be held accountable for our sins, this means we are going to be losers on that day, because when we were in the dunya, we were not good people. We did not do anything good. We took drugs, we seduced our neighbor's wife. We even killed people. Some of us were contract killers. We were bisexuals. We were evil in the dunya. So if there's a day called the day of resurrection, and if there is life after death, when we return to our Maker, we are going to be losers. Nothing but good people. In the dunya, we were human garbage. We were low-life scums of the earth. يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة. They say, shall we indeed be returned from us? إذا كنا عظاما نخرة, even as the bones in our graves. It would be, in that case, a return with loss. If Judgment Day is a reality, not a fantasy, if we return to life to face judgment, that return is nothing but loss. Because in the dunya, we were human devils. People like Bush and Blair should be worried about Judgment Day. People like Ariel Sharon. Ariel Sharon, he joined his brothers in hellfire. When they announced, many people were celebrating, many Muslims. They said, oh, he's in the hellfire. He has joined his brothers Nimrod and the Pharaoh Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl in the hellfire. Ariel Sharon. People like that, they should be worried about Judgment Day, because in the dunya, we don't know any good coming from them. Bush and Blair, Ariel Sharon. People like that should say, if there is a day called Judgment Day, when we return to our Maker, we will become nothing but losers. Because in the dunya, we were human devils. أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنْ لَنْ نَجْمَعَ عِظَامَهُ. So man thinks we can't return him back to life. That concept is ridiculous, because you are trying to limit the powers of Allah.
How dare you limit the powers of Allah by claiming, I'm going to be in the grave, I'm going to be reduced to bones. I'm going to be crumbled bones in my grave. Will there be life after death? I'm sorry, I don't believe in life after death. It's just a myth. The shaitan wants you to think like that because the shaitan wants you to become a human devil to keep his company in the hellfire. He is the one who casts doubt in your hearts about life after death. Bala qadirina ala an nusawwiya banana. Yes, we are able to put together in perfect order the tips of his fingers. Ayah 4. We are able to put together in perfect order even the tip of his fingers. Banana. And we all have a different fingerprint. We all have a different fingerprint. I came late to Dars today. You know why? I was with the BBC. I was just with the BBC. You know what they asked me, the BBC? Shaykh Faisal, tell us how to refute the atheist. That's what they asked me. Tell us how to refute an atheist. I said to them, are you an atheist? I said, no. I wouldn't say I am an atheist. My daughter was sick and I prayed to Allah and my daughter is cured. So I can't say I'm an atheist. That's it. No resurrection. Well, I told them how to refute an atheist. Maybe you should ask the admins to bring you the link how to refute an atheist. The admins can find the link. The first argument you use against the atheist is the sun. The sun. Because the atheist wants you to think the world came about by an accident. The Big Bang, accident. Nobody created the world, everything was an accident. I told the BBC, the sun is over our heads. If it is too close to us, we would die from intense heat. If the sun is too far away from us, we would all freeze to death. But the sun is meticulously, carefully, scrupulously, accurately, fastidiously situated above our heads to sustain life on earth. So if the sun was too close, we would die from intense heat. If it was too far away, we would freeze to death by an axe. The sun would have been either too close or too far away. This is clear evidence that the world was intelligently designed by Allah. We believe in what? Intelligent design. That's our belief. Intelligent design. The world was intelligently designed by Allah. You know what BBC said? Nobody can refute this argument. No atheist can answer this argument. If the world came about by an accident, why the sun is carefully situated above our heads to sustain life on earth? Then they asked for Surah Fatiha. And tomorrow they want the tafsir from the surah. This is deja vu for me because they did it to me in South Africa. They came and asked for the tafsir of Surah Wadduha and Surah Ikhlas. That is deja vu. Anyway, we continue with our tafsir. Bala qadirina ala an nusawwiya banana. Bal yuridu al
can bring me ayah 5, Surah 75, verse 5. Man, he continues to deny the day of resurrection in order to continue to commit sins. This is called to give you a sense of false sense of security. Man likes to con himself. Because who lives come of the earth, a human filth, an inhabitant of the hellfire. He knows that he belongs to the hellfire if there is a day called Judgment Day. So he tries to comfort himself by denying the day of resurrection. That is his strategy, to give himself a false sense of security. And Mike, okay, the point I'm making, please write the point. Because man knows he's evil, he's a human garbage, a human devil, a low-life scum of the earth, a human filth, a resident of the hellfire. Because of his wicked deeds, he tries to comfort himself by denying the day of judgment. Deny life after death. It is called to give yourself a false sense of security. To comfort yourself by denying the day of resurrection. Bal yuridul insan liyafjura amama. To comfort yourself by denying the day of resurrection. It is called to give yourself a false sense of security. Yes. Because I am evil, if Judgment Day is a reality, not a fantasy, then I am doomed because I am a human devil. So how do I comfort myself? By denying the day of resurrection. He asks, when will be this day of resurrection? They like to ask the prophets that. Ayah 6. They like to say, if there is a day of resurrection, when is it? They even ask Jesus that question. They ask Jesus the same question. If there is a day of resurrection, when is it? He asks, when will be this day of resurrection? Surah 34, verses 29 to 30. Matthew 24, verse 36. Please Google the Bible verse. And Jesus said to them, I don't know when is Judgment Day. Not even the angels in heaven know when is Judgment Day. Only God himself knows when is Judgment Day. The Muslims, they use that Bible verse to checkmate the Christians. If Jesus was God, how comes he doesn't know when is Judgment Day? When you bring the Bible verse, bring it in blue font, not green. Green is for Quran. And they say, when is this promised day, the day of resurrection? When will it be fulfilled? If you are speaking the truth, when is it? Say to them, O Muhammad, the appointment to you is for a day which you cannot put back for an hour or a moment. Can you put it forward? Surah Sabah, verse 30.
Did anyone find the Bible verse where Jesus said, I don't know when is judgment day, not even the angels in heaven, they don't know, only God himself knows. So when the sight shall be dazed, so when the sight shall be dazed, ayah 6. فَإِذَا بَرِقَ الْبَصَرُ وَخَسَفَ الْقَمَرُ. And when the moon will be eclipsed, the sun and the moon will eclipse. وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ. And the sun and the moon will be joined together by going one into the other. Flight. On that day, man will say, where is my escape? Where is my refuge? Man will say, Ayn al-mafar. Where is my escape? Kalla la wazar. Day of resurrection. Because the day of resurrection is called al-ghashiyah, the enveloping day. So because it is called al-ghashiyah, the enveloping day, no one can escape from Allah on that day. So there will be an eclipse on the day of judgment. The day of judgment is so horrible and terrible. The mountains will be like wool. There will be a huge earthquake. إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. Quake on the day of resurrection. And Allah said, يَوْمَ يَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ الْمَبْثُوثِ. Man will be like the moth, the flies that fly around the light bulb. Have you seen those flies? They look confused. Those flies that fly around the light bulb, they are confused.com. This is how man will behave on the day of judgment. He shall behave like the flies that fly around the light bulb. Subhanallah. Man will walk around as if to say he is drunk, but he is not drunk. They will behave like they are drunk, but they will not be drunk. Allah said judgment day will make kids become Sheba, white in their hair. Judgment day is so horrible, horrifying, petrifying. فكيف تكون إن كفرتم يوم يجعل الولدان شيبا. And how can you escape that? How can you escape that day? A day that will cause the kids to become white in their hair. Surah Muzammil, verse 17. Many people think the angel will blow into the trumpet twice, but there's a mistake. That is a mistake. The first time is to cause fright, horror, and terror. The first time the angel blows into the trumpet is to cause horror and terror. The second time the angel blows into the trumpet, it is to cause death. The second time to cause death. And when the angel blows into the trumpet, the second time, everybody will die. Surah 55. Everybody will die. So Allah said, كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. Whatever is on the earth will die, and the face of your Lord, full of majesty and glory and honor, will remain forever. Only Allah will remain alive. Even the angel of death is blown into the second time. The third blowing into the trumpet is to cause resurrection. The first to be resurrected will, and he will be the first to regain consciousness. When he regains consciousness, he will see Prophet Musa hanging on to one of the pillars of Allah's throne. I don't know if he was made exempted from being unconscious on the day of judgment. The first to be resurrected will be the Prophet Muhammad, and he will see Prophet Musa hanging on to one of the pillars of Allah's throne. We, the members of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we use this hadith about Musa hanging on to one of the pillars of Allah's throne to checkmate the goofy Sufis who claim Allah's throne means glory. It's not something which is concrete. We use the hadith found in Bukhari and Muslim to checkmate the goofy Sufis who claim the throne of Allah is not concrete. It means the answer to the question, Musa was made. Everybody will be resurrected unconscious except Musa. He was exempted. Do you see the hadith in Bukhari? This is the hadith we use to checkmate the goofy Sufis who claim the throne of Allah means the glory of Allah is not something you can see and touch. They are very weak in Tawheed. Masakeen. إِلَى رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرُّ. To your Lord alone will be the place of rest that day. So we will all return to our Lord on that day. إِلَى رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرُّ. To your Lord alone will be the place of rest. Surah 75, verse 12. Meaning you will all return to your Lord to be judged and to be shown your deeds. You will be shown your deeds. And if you should do an atom's weight of good, you will see it. And if you should do an atom's weight of evil, you shall see it. يُنَبَّأُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. On that day, man will be of his evil or good deeds, and what he left behind of his good or evil traditions. Ayah 13. So Allah said man will be informed of everything he did, because the Kiram and Katibin, the angels, they wrote down everything, they record everything you did. The angels are recording your deeds, and they don't need a Toshiba camera, a Sony, a Samsung camera to record your deeds. They record your deeds supernatural. 99 verses 7 to 8. المثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. Anyone who did an atom's worth of good will see it, because the Kiram and Katibin recorded all your deeds to play it back to you on the day of resurrection. Nay, man will be a witness against himself, as his body parts, skin, hands, legs, will speak about his deeds. So whosoever does an atom's weight of good shall see it, and whosoever does an atom's weight of evil shall see it, because man will be informed of what he did. So Allah Ta'ala said in Ayah 14, nay, man will be a witness against himself, to testify against him. So why will Allah allow your body parts to testify against you? Limb of your body to testify will be your left leg. The first limb to testify against you on Judgment Day will be your left leg. So why will Allah inspire your body parts to testify? That is because man will deny his haram. Deny. So when he starts to deny, Allah will seal his lips, and Allah will make his hands and feet testify against them on the day of judgment. Surah Yasin, verse 65. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. On that day we shall seal their lips, and we shall make their hands and feet testify against them in regards to the haram things they used to perpetrate. So Allah Ta'ala said, you are the best person to watch over yourself. The best person to watch yourself is yourself, because you're always with yourself. They will take an overdose of cocaine or heroin and die the way Whitney Houston died. These are big people, but if you don't watch them, they will self-destruct. They need handlers to tell them when to stop eating, when to stop drinking, and to tell them when to stop taking drugs. Without handlers, they'll overdose and die the way Whitney Houston overdosed and died. How can you be a big person, an adult, and you need handlers? A'udhu billah. Many celebrities, they need handlers. Without handlers, they will self-destruct. They need handlers to organize their schedule. They can't do anything without their handlers. They need handlers for their food, their clothes, and their itinerary, and to tell them about their habits, which habit will cause them to be destroyed. The handlers, they watch over them to protect them. But Allah Ta'ala said, the best person to watch yourself is yourself, because you're always with yourself. بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا. Even though you'll come forward with a million excuses, you have no one to blame but yourself. بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا. Though he may put forward a million excuses to cover his evil deeds. Did you bring me the ayahs? لا تحرك به بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة. Man is the best person to watch himself. Ayah 16 is talking about a different topic. Ayah 16 is talking about a different topic. Ayah 16 is a correction for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did you know that? Ayah 16 was revealed to correct the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah said, لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به. لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به. إن علينا جمعه وقرآنه فإذا قرأنا فاتبع قرآنه ثم إن علينا بيانه. Bring me ayah 16 to 19. Because I can't explain one without the other. They are interwoven. All four verses are interwoven. لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به. إن علينا جمعه وقرآنه. Move not your tongue concerning the Holy Quran, O Muhammad, to make a haste with the Quran. Don't be in a haste with the Quran. It is incumbent upon us to collect it and to give you, Muhammad, the ability to recite it properly. And when we recite the Quran to you by the tongue of the angel Gabriel, follow in his recitation. Then it is incumbent upon us to give you the bayan, to give you the tafsir, to make it clear for you. Why did Allah reveal these four verses? Now we go to another subject called Asbab an-Nuzul. Causes of revelation. Why did Allah send it down? When the angel Gabriel used to come with the Quran, the Prophet was afraid that he would forget the Quran. The Prophet was filled with zeal and enthusiasm to memorize the Quran from the lips of the angel Gabriel. So sometimes he would recite before the angel could come out with the Quran properly. Inna alayna jam'ahu wa Qur'ana. Because it is incumbent upon us to collect the Quran and to give you the ability to recite it properly. فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَا فَأْتَ بِقُرْآنَ. And when we recite the Quran to you, O Muhammad, by the lips of the angel Gabriel, then follow his recitation. Don't recite with him and don't recite before him. Wait for him to come out with the Quran properly. ثُمَّ إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا بَيَانًا. And then it is incumbent upon us to give you the proper explanation for the Quran, to elucidate the Quran, to explain and to elucidate the Quran for you. So, by reading these 4 verses, no one can deny that the Quran was used to give the Prophet ﷺ good manners. Good manners. Now, did some parts of the Quran become forgotten? Yep, that's the answer. My sheikhs told me in Saudi Arabia, Surah Tawbah was long like Surah Fatiha. What did my sheikhs tell me in Saudi Arabia? Surah Tawbah was long like Surah Fatiha. But some of it has been forgotten. Should we worry about the verses that were forgotten? No, because it is Allah's will for them to be forgotten. Allah knows best why He caused them to be forgotten. Should we worry about those verses that were forgotten from Surah Tawbah? No. Why? Because of Baqarah 106. Baqarah 106. What did Allah say? مَا نَنْسَخْ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا أَوْ نُنْسِهَا نَأْتِ بِخَيْرٍ مِنْهَا أَوْ مِثْلِهَا أَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Whatever verse, whatever revelation, we cancel, we abrogate, we repeal. Some verses we repeal, we abrogate, we cancel the hukum. Or we cause the verse to be forgotten. We bring a better one or similar to it. Don't you know that Allah Ta'ala is capable of doing all things? So, we find comfort in Baqarah 106. I am telling you that my sheikhs told me in Baqarah. Can you cope with that knowledge? Did I tell you something I shouldn't have told you? Surah Tawbah is 129 verses. Surah Tawbah is 129 verses. Baqarah is 286 verses. We find comfort in Baqarah 106 because Allah said, whatever verse we abrogate. Abrogate means to repeal. To repeal a hukum. To cancel the hukum, the ruling. Or whatever verse we cause to be forgotten, we bring a better verse or a verse similar to it. Don't you know Allah has the power to do all things? Why Allah caused those verses to be forgotten, Allah knows best. Allah knows best. I can't answer that. Not even my sheikhs were able to answer that. Why Allah caused them to be forgotten, Allah knows best. I can't answer that. Not even my sheikhs could answer me when I asked them why Allah caused them to be forgotten. Allah knows best. Does Allah have more than 99 names? Yes. So if Allah has more than 99 names, why He only revealed 99 to us? Because your human intellect is too weak to comprehend the other names of Allah. The Prophet said, Sakata an ashya rahmatan lakum. Allah kept quiet about some things, not because He forgot, but because of mercy for you. But because of mercy for you. If you should try to understand all the names of Allah, you will become mentally ill, just trying to understand. Just trying to understand all of Allah's names. You become mentally ill. So Allah kept quiet about some of His names because of mercy for you. Sakata an ashya rahmatan lakum. So don't seek after them. Allah kept quiet about things out of mercy for you, so don't go seeking after them. Kalla bal tuhibbun al-ajla. Not as you think, that you, mankind, will not be resurrected and recompense for your deeds, but you men love the present life of this world. Kalla bal tuhibbun al-ajla. Surah 75 verse 20. Men love the present life of this world. If you tell him, work hard for the hereafter, he said, I want to have fun now. And he complains, I can't embrace Islam, it's too restrictive. I can't have a drink, I can't have a girlfriend. Islam is too restrictive. That's what they say. I give da'wah every day. When I was on tour of Africa, 450 people took shahada at my hands. I didn't capture all of the shahada on camera because I don't want people to think I'm trying to use Islam for fame and fortune. I give shahada to people, hundreds of people. And the da'wah, what do they say? I can't be bothered with Islam, it's too restrictive. I can't even have a drink. I can't even have a girlfriend. What can I do for fun? That's the argument they give. Allah Ta'ala said, Kalla bal tuhibbun al-ajla. Man prefers the life of this world. His attitude, heaven can wait. I want to drink alcohol now. I want to have 10 girlfriends now. Heaven can wait. I can't be bothered to wait. I want to have fun now. But did the Prophet say, Al-ajal min ash-shaytan? Haste is from the shaitan. The Prophet said what? Haste is from the shaitan. And you hasten to have fun. And you prefer the life of this world over the hereafter. Allah said, Bal tu'thirun al-hayat ad-dunya wal-akhirat khayrun wa abqa. Surah 87. 16 to 17. Bal tu'thirun al-hayat ad-dunya wal-akhirat khayrun wa abqa. You prefer the life of this world, even though the hereafter is better and everlasting. Man was created to be hasty. Man is ajula. Man was created to be hasty. If you want something, you want it now. Do you remember the first computers that came out? People don't use them anymore. They're too slow. People want fast computers. People want fast computers. The computers that came out 10, 15 years ago, people don't use them anymore. They dump them in the garbage heap because they are slow. People want fast computers. That's how man is. Man likes things to be done quick. We don't have any patience. Everything has to be quick. So Allah said, you prefer the life of this world, even though the hereafter is better and everlasting. Did you find the hadith? Haste is from the shaitan. A famous hadith. Bring me ayah 21. You prefer the life of this world and you neglect the hereafter. Haste is from the shaitan. Okay, thank you for the hadith. A very famous hadith. Al-ajal min al-shaitan. All of you in this room, I'm sure you heard this hadith before. Haste is from the shaitan. Some faces that they shall be brilliant, looking at their Lord. Ayah 75. I'm sorry, Ayah 22 to 23. Some faces on that day will be shining, looking at their Lord. Did you know that the scholars, the sincere scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Kathir, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, Ahmad, Ibn Hanbal, did you know they used this verse to refute the Shiites and the Khawarij who claim we can't see Allah neither in the dunya nor in the akhirah? The Shiites and the Khawarij, that's their creed. Why is there music in the background? Let me tell my family to turn down the TV. I don't listen to music. I'll tell my family to turn down their TV. Did you know that Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Kathir, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, they use these verses, some faces will be brilliant looking at their Lord, to refute the Khawarij and the Shia who claim we can't see Allah in the dunya nor in the akhirah. The Khawarij and the Shia who say we can't see Allah neither in the dunya nor in the akhirah. Then they quote a Quranic verse. They are trying to use Quran to fight Quran. They use this Quranic verse to say we can't see Allah. And when Musa came at the time and place appointed by us, and his Lord spoke to him, he said, "O my Lord, show me yourself, that I may look upon you." Allah said, "Lan tarani, you will never see me, you cannot see me. But look upon the mountain, if it stands still in its place, then you shall see me." So when his Lord appeared to the mountain, he made it collapse to dust, and Musa fell down unconscious. Then when he recovered in repentance, and I am the first of the believers. The Khawarij and the Shiites, they use this Quranic verse to say, we can't see Allah neither in the dunya nor in the akhirah. they are trying to use Quran to fight Quran. The tafsir of the ayah is that we cannot see Allah in the dunya. That's the tafsir. But we will be able to see Allah in the akhirah. But we will be able to see Allah in the akhirah. Because Allah said, وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. On that day, some faces will be shining, brilliant, looking at their Lord. And some faces that day will be dark, gloomy, and sad, thinking that some calamity is about to fall on them. So the faces will be dark because they think some calamity will befall them. كلا إذا بلغت التراقي. Now when the soul reaches to the collarbone, up to the throat in its exit. Okay, bring me ayah 26. When the soul reaches its collarbone coming out of your body, the soul is now leaving the body and it reaches collarbone. And it will be said, who can cure him and save him from death? Who can cure him and save him from death? Death is yaqeen. You can't escape death. Allah said, wherever you may be, death is going to catch you. Even if you are in fortified columns. Surah Nisa 78. Wherever you may be, death will catch you, even though you might hide away in fortified columns. Death is yaqeen. You can't escape death. Yaqeen means that which is certain. So Allah said, when your soul is leaving your body and it reaches your collarbone, who is it that can save you from death? And he, the dying person, will conclude that it was the time of parting. It is now the time for parting. كلا إذا بلغت التراقي وقيل من راق وظن أنه الفراق. Bring me ayah 27 and ayah 28. Who can cure him from death? Who can recite a ruqiyah to save him from death? When a person is possessed by the jinn, you use a raqi to save him from the jinn, to drive away the jinn. Now death is upon you. Who can use a raqi to save him from death? Nobody. So Allah said, وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقَ وَظَنَّ أَنَّهُ الْفِرَاقَ وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ إِلَى رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمَسَاقُ. Who can cure him with a raqi from death? And he, the dying person, will conclude that it is now time for him to leave this world. He is going. Even though you are dying, you conclude it is time to go. And one leg will be joined with the other leg in the shroud, the white shroud. The drive will be on that day to your Lord and your Lord alone. وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ. One leg will be joined with the other leg in the white shroud. Bring me ayahs 26 to 29. Post those ayahs 26 to 29. The drive will be on that day to your Lord alone. Tab 10. لِيَرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ, to go and see their deeds. Who is posting the ayahs 26 to 29? Do you remember when you made Hajj or Umrah? You made Hajj in white shroud. That is the same white shroud you will be buried in. One leg, Allah said, will be joined to the other leg, and you will be in white shroud. When King Fahd died, he left some 30 billion in the bank. But he was buried as a pauper because of the white shroud and no coffin. We don't bury with coffin, that's bid'ah. You come into the world as a pauper and you leave as a pauper. You don't take any dunya with you. You bury in white shroud. Cheap cloth. Not expensive cloth, cheap cloth. If you want to spend on a person, spend on them when they are alive. Don't spend on them when they are dead. They can't enjoy the money when they are dead. Who is posting the current verses? I don't see anybody posting. Okay, please undot T and Spar to help post the verses. Why do I have to tell you who to undot every night? The person who is supposed to undot, the person who is supposed to post the verses, you have her dotted. The admins, you have her dotted. So how can she post the verses? No wonder I've been asking where are the verses and nobody is posting the verses. Whenever a kafir dies, his family spend sometimes $10,000 US, $20,000 US on the coffin to show off on the day of the janazah. Why didn't you spend the money on the person when they were alive? Whether you spend $10,000 on the coffin or $20,000, their destiny is in the hellfire. The expensive coffin will not save them from the hellfire, which is waiting for them. In Islam, we don't even bury with a coffin. Because we spend on people when they are alive, not when they are dead. Because a dead man can't benefit from the luxury you are splashing out on him. The verses I was thinking of is Surah 75 to 30. Bring me all these verses. Bring me these 5 verses. So Allah said, when the soul reaches the collarbone, because the soul is now leaving its body, it will be said, who can cure him from death? Man raq. Who is the raqi? Where is the raqi to save him from death? And the dying person will conclude, his time is over. His time is on. The earth is up. وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ. And his leg, one leg will be joined to the other leg in the shroud. Cheap cloth, not coffin, in a white shroud. The drive will be on that day to your Lord. So he, the disbeliever, neither believed in the Quran and in the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he didn't even make salah. He didn't pray. Okay, bring me ayah 31. فَلَا صَدَّقَ وَلَا صَلَّى. The disbeliever didn't pray. And he didn't believe. Ayah 31. He didn't believe and he didn't pray. The Prophet said what? The difference between a Muslim and a Kafir is a salah. This hadith is in Muslim. On Judgment Day, the angels will say to some people, they will say, we are in succor because we never prayed. And we didn't pay zakah. Lam naku min al-musallin wa lam naku nut'im al-miskin. Wa kunna nakhudu ma al-kha'idin. We used to argue and dispute with people who like to argue and dispute. And we even rejected faith in the day of judgment until yaqeen. What caused you to be in succor? Succor is a place in hell where the fear will be. They will say, we never used to offer the salah. وَكُنَا نَخُودُ مَعَ الْخَائِرِينَ. We used to argue and dispute. We used to talk falsehood with the vain talkers. We used to speak crap. Belie the day of resurrection, the day of recompense. Until yaqeen came and caught us. What is yaqeen? That which is certain. Death. وَلَكِنْ كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. But on the contrary, he rejected faith and he turned away with pride. On the contrary, he rejected faith and turned away with pride. Then he walked in conceit, full of pride, to his family, admiring himself. On the contrary, he rejected faith in the Quran and the message of Muhammad, and he turned away with pride. Ayah 33. Then he walked in conceit, full of pride. Woe to you, O man, the disbeliever. And then again, woe to you. Again, woe to you, O man, the disbeliever. أولى لك فأولى ثم أولى لك فأولى. Woe to you, O man. You the disbeliever, woe to you. Again, woe to you, O man, you the disbeliever. Does man think we will let him be left neglected? Does man think that he will be left neglected without being punished or rewarded for the obligatory duties enjoined by his Lord Allah on him? This is a question. Ayah 36. You have committed all manner of evil on the surface of the earth. People like Ariel Sharon, Bush and Blair. People like Joseph Stalin and Pol Pot of Kampuchea. You have committed all manner of evil. Do you think that you won't be resurrected and held accountable for what you did? Is that how naive you are? There is no day of justice for you? No day of recompense? You think you can kill millions of people and get away? Is that what you're thinking, Joseph Stalin, in your grave right now? And there is life in the grave. Make no mistake about that. There's life in the grave. That life is called what? The barzakh. So, when the Barelvis said there's life in the grave, they are correct. But where did the Barelvis go astray? Where did the Barelvis go astray? When they say there's life in the grave, they are correct. How do we answer? Hatta zurtum al-maqabir. Rivalry to pile up the dunya takes you away from the deen. When you visit the grave, then you'll realize that you allow the dunya to take you away from your deen. Hatta zurtum al-maqabir. This surah tells you there is life in the grave. Where the brothers go astray is that they pray to the inhabitants of the graves. What they don't realize is Allah blocks them from hearing your dua when you pray to them because you are doing shirk. That branch of knowledge the brothers don't have. Allah blocks them. When they pray to the graves, Allah blocks the person in the grave from hearing your dua because you are dabbling in shirk, and Allah save them from your fitna of calling upon them. So even though there is life in the grave, some things the dead can't hear. What is it? Your dua to them. Allah blocks them from hearing that because you are doing shirk. Surah 35 verse 14. That is called the knockout punch for every Barelvi. Surah Fatir verse 14. What is this ayah? The knockout punch for the Barelvis, the grave worshipping Barelvis. Allah save them from your mischief, your shirk, your fitna of calling upon them. Allah blocks them from hearing your kufr and your shirk and your zandaka. In tad'uhum la yasma'u du'aakum walau sami'u mastajabu lakum. If you invoke them, they can't hear you. They can't hear your call. And if in a case they were to hear you, they could not grant you your request. And on the day of resurrection, they will disown your worshipping them. What Allah is telling you? What is the ayah telling you? Every grave worshipper is worshipping the grave. All the people who pray to the graves, they are grave worshippers. Allah pronounced the Barelvis grave worshippers in the Holy Quran, Surah 35 verse 14. So don't tell me I'm not worshipping the grave. Allah called you a grave worshipper in the Quran, Surah 35 verse 14. Go and read the Quran. You jahil, you mushrik. Go and read the Quran, you pagan. You jahil mushrik. Allah called you a grave worshipper in the Quran. Why? Because you pray to the graves. So don't tell me you are not a grave worshipper when Allah pronounced you a grave worshipper in the Quran. Does man think that we will leave him alone to do what he wants? Was he not a nutfa? Weren't you a nutfa? You were so small we can't even... You're the man who is bragging and boasting. The sperm that fertilized the egg was so small we could not see it with our naked eye. We need a microscope to look at the sperm that was used to impregnate your mother for you to be born. You were so small at some time in life we could not see you with our naked eye. We need a microscope to look at the sperm. That thing that has a tail. It even has a tail. Like the tadpole. Weren't you a nutfa? Male and female discharge. Then we made you into an alaqa. A clot that clings to the womb of the mother. And when you are an alaqa, the soul is not yet blown into you. When you are an alaqa, that is called the second 40 days. The soul is not yet blown into. The word alaqa, the clinging thing. The thing that hangs. At this second stage, the second 40 days, the soul isn't blown into the body as just a part living off your mother. The way the leech, the ticks live off the cow. That's why Allah called you an alaqa, clinging to the womb with no yet in you. And the third stage is called the mudgha. The mudgha is the third stage, the lump of flesh. And that is when the angel blows the soul into your body. So if abortion should take place when you become a mudgha, your mother committed a crime, and that crime is murder. And if anyone should cause the woman to have a miscarriage, at this stage, you have to pay compensation, which is 5 camels. 5 camels to cause a woman to lose her baby. Can anybody bring me the hujjah where the compensation is 5 camels? If you cause a woman to lose her baby. 5 camels. That's the compensation. That's what my sheikhs told me when we covered compensation. Compensation for a person to lose their eye, to lose a leg, to lose a hand, a woman to lose her baby. There is a complete chapter in Sharia law called compensation. Compensation when a person loses their life. If you cause a Muslim to lose his life, you have to pay 100 camels. If it's a woman, 50 camels. If it's a man, 100 camels. That is a totally different subject by itself. Compensation. We don't have time to go into that now. That is fit. And made of him 2 sexes, the male and the female. After we have made man, man was a sperm mixed with ovum. Weak. A Allah said you were created from a gushing fluid, a gushing, despicable fluid. And when you become a fully grown man, you become proud, arrogant, haughty, and rebellious to Allah. Allah said, we made you two sexes, the male and the female. Why? So that the human race can continue. Why Allah made the two sexes? To ensure the continuity of the human race. How do you checkmate a homosexual? I was with the BBC about 2 hours ago. They said, how do we checkmate an atheist? My question to you, how do you checkmate a homosexual? You say to him, you call yourself gay. Gay means happy. You captured that word. In the 1950s, when you call a person gay, it was a compliment. Not anymore. The homosexual community, they captured that word from us. We can't get it back. They captured the word from us. The word gay. You can't call a person gay anymore. It's a huge insult. In the 1950s, you couldn't call a person gay. They captured that word from us. How do you checkmate a homosexual? You say to him, you call yourself gay, means you're happy. If you are so happy with your lifestyle, why don't you set up a gay colony? Why don't you migrate to an island and set up a gay colony? They will never do that. You know why? Because all the men will become old, they can't produce, and they will die. Homosexuality ensures the discontinuity of the human race. Homosexuality ensures that the human race grinds to a halt because they can't produce. They will never campaign for a gay colony. Why don't you migrate to an island and all the men on the island are homosexuals? Why don't you migrate and live there? They will all become old and they will die out. Because homosexuals are an endangered species, because they can't reproduce. This is the argument you use against the gay to checkmate the gay. Do you know what the BBC asked me 2 hours ago? Should I tell her what they Should I tell her what they asked me 2 hours ago? They said to me, Shaykh Faisal, do you think homosexuals should be killed? They asked me off camera, not on camera. Off camera. Some questions are on camera, some are off camera. I said, look, I can't veto the Prophet Muhammad. And I can't veto Allah. The best example is Allah. And Allah killed them at Sodom and Gomorrah in the time of Prophet Lut alayhi salam. The best example is Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, we should kill homosexuals. We can't veto the Prophet. If you veto the Prophet, you're no longer a Muslim. Then I told him at least 10 people who the Sharia told us to kill. The rapist, you can kill the rapist. The drug smuggler, you can kill the armed robber. You can kill the man who have sex with animals. The man who did incest, having sex with his daughters. You kill him. You kill the armed robber. You kill the apostate. You kill the gay. You can kill the rapist. You kill the drug smuggler who smuggles crack cocaine into the Muslim country. You kill the spy. When I told them the 10 people we killed, they said, Shaykh Faisal, it's not too much it's not too much violence. So it's not violence. It's called a purge. That's not violence. That's called a purge. How can you have rapists roaming the country raping women? You kill the gay, not the lesbian. You're not allowed to kill lesbian. You don't kill lesbians, you kill the gay. Allah said we created two sexes, two genders, the male and the female. Why? To ensure the continuity of the human race. Homosexuality caused the human race to grind to a halt. Their lifestyle is anti-human. Because if men should become homosexuals, the human race will be grind to a halt. When I was in prison in Belmarsh, I had a friend who was Algerian. They call him a fundamentalist. The newspapers, they think he's a fundamentalist. He said to me, this Algerian, who they claim was a fundamentalist, a Muslim fundamentalist, Shaykh Faisal, when the kuffar men become homosexuals, we should be happy. But when a Muslim become homosexual, then we should be sad. If a kafir become gay, we should be happy. But if a Muslim become gay, then we should be sad. When the kafirs become gay, it's better for us so that the kafir race grinds to a halt. So we can breed. We can breed and we can impregnate women. And so the Muslim race will outnumber the kafir race. He was a fundamentalist and this was his aqidah. He was a fundamentalist, a hardcore fundamentalist, and this was his aqidah. We should be happy when a kafir is gay so that the kafir race will grind to a halt, become gay. Because we need to outnumber the kuffar by impregnating women and making Muslim babies to outnumber the kuffar. That was the creed of a fundamentalist I met in Belmarsh prison. Belmarsh is the Guantanamo Bay of Europe. So Allah Ta'ala said He created the two sexes, the male and the female. And Allah Ta'ala said, from these two genders, He provides for you wives for you to find comfort in your wives. Surah 30. Surah Rum. What did Allah say? From among the wonderful signs of Allah, He created for you wives. And then He put between yourself and your wives love and rahmah, love and mercy. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. From among the wonderful signs of Allah, He has created for you wives to find comfort in your wives. And He put between you what? Love and mercy. This is the barakah of the two races. The two genders. The barakah of the two genders. The Rasul said, Atazawwaj an-nisa, I marry nisa, women. فَمَنْ رَغِبَ عَنْ سُنَّتِي فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. Anyone who doesn't practice my sunnah to get married to women, he is not a follower of me. Is marriage compulsory? Is marriage compulsory on all of you? Yes, if you have sexual needs, it's compulsory. So the question, is marriage compulsory on you as a Muslim? Yes, if you have sexual needs, it's compulsory. مَا لَا يَتِمُّ الْوَاجِبِ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ وَاجِبٌ. Whenever something is wajib, the prerequisite becomes wajib. Listen to my Arabic. مَا لَا يَتِمُّ الْوَاجِبِ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ وَاجِبٌ. Whenever something is wajib, the prerequisite becomes wajib as well. Allah even swears by the two genders in the Quran. Al-Zakar wal-Untha. Did you know that? In Surah Wal-Layli Idha Yaghsha, Allah Ta'ala swears by the Zakar and the Untha. Surah 92, verses 1 to 3. Allah said, I swear by the night as it envelopes the surroundings. I swear by the day as it brings out the light. And I swear by the male and the female, the two genders. Az-Zakar wal-Untha. So why Allah keeps speaking about the Zakar and the Untha, the male and the female, the two genders? Because without these two genders, the human race will grind to a halt. Without the two genders, the human race will grind to a halt. Why Allah keeps speaking about the two genders? Because it's natural for you to be attracted to the opposite gender. It is natural for you to be attracted to the opposite gender. So because of that, the Prophet said, if you find two men practicing homosexuality, kill both of them. The fa'il and the maf'ulun bihi. This hadith is in Abu Dawud. Okay, authentic 25, find the hadith. If you find two men practicing homosexuality, kill both of them. The fa'il, the active and the passive. The fa'il and the maf'ulun bihi. أليس ذلك بقادر على أن يحيي الموتى? Is it not that Allah who does that is able to bring back the dead to life, to give life to the dead? Yes, He's able to do all things. Ayah 40. The Prophet said, whoever you find doing the action of people of Lut, execute the one who does it and the one to whom it is done to. The fa'il and the maf'ulun bihi. This is the hadith I told the BBC. So I said to the BBC, if I should get a visa to go and preach in Europe or America, I am in Oxford University preaching, and somebody put up their hand, Shaykh Faisal, what do you think about the homosexuals? Shaykh Faisal, what do you think about the Muslim who apostated and became a Christian? And I quote this hadith in Oxford, they are going to kick me out of the country and give me 3 days. They did it to Bilal Phillips. Bilal Phillips was in Germany and they asked him about gay men, and when he gave the Islamic verdict, they gave Bilal Phillips 3 days to leave Germany. They said he's incited to your countries. Keep your visa and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. I'm not interested. Because when I go on a tour, you're going to ask me these questions. What should we do with apostates? What should we do with homosexuals? And when I give the Islamic verdict, they're going to cancel my visa and say you have 3 days to leave the country. You're inciting murder against the gay community. They did it to Bilal Phillips in Germany. Keep your visa and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. I'm not interested. Allah is asking a question. Is it not Allah who does that? Able to give life to the dead? Yes, He is able to do all things. And do not underestimate Allah's powers. It is easy for Allah to bring the dead back to life. This was a tafsir of Surah Al Qiyamah. I'll take two questions about the tafsir just heard. This is the tafsir of Surah Al Qiyamah, and please put the notes out as soon as possible on the blog. The answer to the question is yes, Allah is able to do all things. Nothing is impossible for Allah. Is there any questions about the tafsir? Question, Assalamu alaikum. How loud does the loud prayers have to be? Maghrib, Isha. If you pray by yourself, it should be loud. If you pray and you are the imam leading others in congregation, it should be loud for the people praying behind you to hear your recitation. So by yourself, it should be loud for you to hear yourself. If you are praying, leading others in jama'ah, it should be loud for the people praying behind you to hear your recitation. Assalamu alaikum. When is it permissible to lie, protecting from harm? Relationships, friendship between two Muslims at war. You have asked the question and you have answered the question. You have asked the question and you have answered the question. Okay, Authentic 35, find the hadith. You're allowed to lie to save a marriage. If a man is about to divorce his wife, you can lie to save the marriage. You're allowed to lie on the battlefield. You are allowed to lie for two Muslims who are carrying grudges to make up with each other. These are the occasions in which you're allowed to lie. On the battlefield, for bringing reconciliation amongst Muslims, persons, to save a man from divorcing his wife. So on the battlefield, to save a marriage, and to make two Muslims who are carrying grudges to make up with each other. These are the three occasions in which a Muslim is allowed to lie. On the battlefield, to bring reconciliation between two Muslims. On the third occasion, you're allowed to lie to save a marriage. These are the three occasions which is mentioned in the above hadith. We can say these are the three occasions which is listed in the above hadith. Jazakallah khairan. This is another question, Shaykh. What is your stance of the fitna in Syria? Is forward to wear trousers above the ankles. The hadith that talks about garments above or below the ankle, the Prophet wasn't talking about trousers. He was talking about izar, the waist wrapper. The Prophet wasn't talking about trousers. The Prophet was talking about izar, which is called the waist wrapper. Those who think the Prophet was talking about trousers, their Arabic is weak. the Prophet wasn't talking about trousers, he was referring to izar, which is the waist wrapper. In no culture, people wear trousers below the ankle for pride. That doesn't exist in any culture. It doesn't exist in any culture. People wear trousers below the ankle for pride. That doesn't exist in any culture. Look at the hadith, the izar, which is the waist wrapper. Izar is not trousers. Same as trousers, they're weak. In fiqh and in the Arabic language. Thanks. Are you telling me the Muslims who are living in Sweden and Norway, which is freezing cold, if they wear their jeans trousers in the winter, they are going to be better for that? And the weather condition is so harsh. So the Prophet wasn't talking about trousers, he was talking about the waist wrapper which the Arabs wore beneath the ankle for pride. I think there's another part of the question I need to answer. The fitna in Syria, the problem in Syria is that different mujahideen have different aqidah. Some are fighting for democracy, like FIS, FSA, the Free Syrian Army. Some are fighting for Khilafah and Sharia, like ISIS. They have appointed a caliph. So ISIS is fighting for Sharia, Khilafah. FSA is fighting for democracy. The worst hatred is not racial hatred. The worst hatred is religious hatred. So there will be hatred between ISIS and FSA because one is fighting for Sharia, Khilafah, and the other is fighting for democracy. Democracy is the greatest shirk. So on many occasions they kill each other because they belong to two different religions. FSA belongs to a religion called democracy. ISIS belongs to a religion called Islam. They belong to two different religions. So because of that, they turn their guns on each other in Syria. Not because they are fighting to topple Bashar al-Assad. It doesn't mean they are united. They are not united. Someone want to topple Bashar al-Assad and implement democracy, like Western Europe. And some want to topple Bashar al-Assad and implement Sharia and Khilafah. So expect them to turn their guns on each other because they belong to two different religions. Stated. The FSA, they hate Islam so much, they are willing to take side with Bashar al-Assad to kill ISIS. The FSA, they hate Islam so much, they are willing to take side with Bashar al-Assad to turn their guns on ISIS because they don't want Islam. They hate Islam. They are secular. Anybody who believes in democracy is a kafir, because democracy is the religion of the Satan, the religion of the Freemasons. Because democracy is the religion of the Freemasons and the religion of the Satan. Give the reason why. Democracy is a religion of the Freemasons and the religion of the Satan. Many of you, you think you're a Muslim, but you are not. You're a Freemason. Why? Because your creed is democracy. Okay, many of you think you are Muslims, but you are yet to be Muslims. You are Freemasons. Why? Because your religion is democracy. You are a Freemason because your religion is democracy. In the graveyard of the Muslims, they should be buried in the graveyard of the Christians. Because a Muslim is not allowed to believe in a foreign religion. Those who believe in democracy should not be allowed to be buried in the graveyard of the Muslims. They should be buried in the graveyard of the Christians, because a Muslim is not. To believe in a foreign religion. The only religion you can believe in is Islam. Democracy is a religion. The only religion a Muslim can believe in is Islam. That was the last question. I close the dars. Democracy is a religion. It is a religion of the Satan. The religion of the Satan and the Freemasons. Freemason is one word, I think. Freemason. Democracies of the earth. These are the worst human beings to walk earth. Bush and Blair, Ariel Sharon. Democracy gave us all these men. And a good in it, why it gave us Ariel Sharon, Bush and Blair. Muhammad. You're asking me tomorrow, TAFSEER SURAH Mumtahina? I don't think so. We'll do Ikhlas. BBC is here. I think they want Ikhlas. TAFSEER SURAH Ikhlas. The BBC will join the halqa tomorrow. I don't think they want Surah Mumtahina. I want